Hello all, welcome to i-tutor Academy. In today's session, we will start with the unit 3, that is computer software. So, what are the structure of this chapter is introduction is their objectives, system software, under that there is operating system, language translators, utility program and application software, programming language, difference between application software and system software, opening source software, acquiring application software, summary, unit and exercises are there. So this is the structure of this unit, and let's begin with the introduction part. The word software collectively refers to various kind of programs used to operate computers and related devices. A program is a sequence of instructions that a computer can interpret and execute. Program can be built into the hardware itself, or they may exist independently in a form known as software. Hardware describes the physical component of computers and related devices. Software may be distributed on floppy disk, CD-ROMs, and on the internet. It is usually stored on an external long-term memory device such as a hard drive or magnetic diskette, and when the program is in use, the computer reads it from the storage device and temporarily plays the instructions in random access memory, that is RAM. The process of fetching and then performing the instruction is called running or executing a program. Software programs and procedures that are permanently stored in a computer's read-only memory, that is ROM, are called firmware. And the two main type of software are system software and application software. Application software consists of programs that are aimed to help users in solving particular computing problems. Microsoft Edge for web browsing, Adobe Photoshop for developing computer graphics, social media tools like WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, and Messenger for instant messaging all lies in the application software category. The other class of software is the system software, which encompasses the program that heavily interact with the computer resources and provide service to other programs. Popular example in this are operating system, OS, hardware drive, compiler, etc. And next is objectives of this chapter are, after reading this unit you should be describe about the different type of operating system and their functions, and state the characteristics of system software and application software, differentiate between compiler and interpreters, differentiate between application software and system software, enumerate the advantages and disadvantages of compiles and interpreters, define and explain the concept and philosophy of open source software, and explain the process of software acquisition. System software coordinates the various part of computer system and mediate between the application software and computer hardware. Operating system is a system software which manages and controls the computer's activities. The other system software consists of computer language translation programs that convert programming languages into machine language, and utility programs that perform common processing tasks. So, operating system. An operating system is a set of computer programs that controls the computer hardware and acts as an interface with the application programs. The operating system plays a central role in the functioning of a computer system. It is usually stored on disk after the computer system is started or booted up. Portions of operating system are transferred to memory as required. The kernel, as the name suggests, is a head of the operating system and controls the most critical processes. Windows by Microsoft, Linux, Unix, and Macintosh are commonly used operating system. In some specialized or embedded computers, the operating instructions are contained in their circuitry. Common examples are the microcomputers found in calculators, automobile engines, mobile phones, and microwave ovens. Functions of operating system. An operating system performs allocation and assignment of system resources, schedule the use of computer resources, monitors the computer system activities, etc. The various activities performed by a typical operating system are performing common computer hardware functions, providing user interface, providing a degree of hardware independence, managing system memory, managing processing tasks, providing networking capability, and controlling access to system resources, managing files. Common hardware functions are all application program must perform certain tasks. For example, getting input from the keyboard or some other input devices, retrieving data from disk, storing data on disk, and displaying information on a monitor or printer. Each of these basic function requires a more detailed set of instructions to complete. The operating system converts a simple basic instruction into the set of detailed instruction required by the hardware. In effect, the operating systems act as intermediary between the application program and the hardware. The typical OS performs hundreds of such a functions, each of which is translated into one or more instructions for the hardware. The OS notifies the user or if input or output devices need attention, if an error has occurred, or if anything abnormal has happened in the system. User interface, one of the most important function of any operating system, is providing a user interface. A user interface allows individual to access and command the computer system. The first user interfaces for mainframe and personal computer system were command based. A command based user interface required that next text command be given to the computer to perform basic activities. And for example, the command erase text written and would cause the computer to erase or delete a file called text written. Rename, that is copy, are the example of command used to rename files and copy files from one location to another, like that. And a graphical user interface uses pictures, that is called icons, and menus displayed on screen to send command to the computer system. And many people find that graphical user interface are easier to use because user intuitively grasp the functions. Hardware independence, the application make use of the operating system by making requests for services through a defined application program interface. Programs can use APIs to create application software without having to understand the inner working of the operating system. Memory management. The purpose of memory management is to control how memory is accessed and to maximize available memory and storage. The memory management features or of many operating system allows the computer to execute program instructions effectively and with speed. Memory controller allows the computer system to efficiently and effectively store and retrieve data and instructions and to supply them to the CPU. Memory management program convert a user request for data or instructions to a physical location where the data or instructions are stored. And most operating systems support virtual memory, which allocates space on the hard disk to supplement the immediate functional memory capacity of RAM. And virtual memory works by swapping program or part of program between memory and one or more disk drives using a concept called paging. Okay, and the processing task. What is processing task? Managing all processing activities in accomplished by the task management features of operating system. The task management allocate computer resources to make the best use of system assets. Task management software may permit one user to run several program or task at the same time and allow several users to use the same computer at the same time, and like that. And the time sharing allows more than one person to use computer system at the same time. And example, 15 customer services representative may be entering sales data into a computer system for a mail order company at the same time. And networking capability, the operating system can provide features and capability that aid users in connecting to a computer network. Example, Apple computer users have built-in network access through Apple share features, and the Microsoft Windows operating system come with the capability to link users to the internet. And access to systems resources, computers often handle sensitive data that can be accessed over networks. The operating system need to provide a high level of security and against unauthorized access to the user's data and programs. Typically, the operating system establishes a long on procedure that requires users to enter an identification code and a matching password. File management. An operating system performs file management functions to ensure that the files are available to CPU when needed and that they are protected from access by unauthorized users. Many computers support multiple users who store file on centrally located disk or tape drives. The operating system must be able to resolve what to do if more than once user request access to the same file at the same time, and even on standalone personal computers with the only one user, and file management is needed to keep track of where files are located, what size they are, and when they were created and who created them. And language translators. Okay, so what is language translators? The CPU, that is also called processor of a computer, understand command in machine language where each instruction is a series of binary digits. Programming in machine language is not easy as programmers have to remember the machine codes which are in binary format to help programmers. Other high level programming languages have been developed whose instructions are easy to remember for programmers as these languages use English words. That is C, Java, SQL are example of high level programming languages. And assemblers, the computer software that translate the assembly language program into corresponding machine language program are known as assemblers. Okay, and the compiler and interpreter. Compiler and interpreter are used to translate a high level programming language program into a machine language program. As the translation process is very cumbersome, and some compiler first translate the source code the program in high level language into the equivalent assembly language program and then use the assemblers for the next step. To define a compiler is a program that translates a source text written in a language A into a target program in language B, whereas interpreter is a program which directly execute the program in a given language programming language A. Program statement to interpreter and to machine language system statement or computer system. There is translations working of interpreter and statement execution also there. Difference between compiler and interpreter. An interpreter is a language translator that reads the source code line by line and execute them one by one. While on the other hand, a compiler first read the complete source code and then generate its object code, the equivalent machine language program. And interpreter has the advantage that the process of translation takes less time and compared to the compiler, but the program generated is less efficient as compared to the compiler in terms of the time is to take the execute program. And next is step 1 is program translation, computer program, compiler, machine language program, there is translations. And step 2 is program execution, that is machine language program, and to computer system, that is program execution. So working of compiler. What are the advantages and disadvantages of interpreter over compiler? Advantages are as compared to compiler, no synthesis phase is required in interpreter. Neither there is a need to learn target language b nor the target code is to be generated. This interpreter don't have synthesis phase and direct execution, there is no intermediate compilation phase, so the code is directly executed. And disadvantages, efficiency loss, as the code is executed on the fly the efficiency of the program is low. In compiler there is a separate phase for optimization of the program code, and interpreter must be available on target machine. The compiled code can be executed on any similar machine. The code needs not to be compiled every time, and for languages which are interpreter based, the interpreter must be available on each machine where the code is to be executed. So activity A is here. Please go through it. And the next is utility programs. A utility program is designed for general support to the process of a computer. They are usually for routine, repetitive tasks and many users share them. And the example also here. Next is application software. Application software is a complete self-contained program that perform a specific function directly for the user. This is in contrast to system software which exists to support application programs. Application software may consist of a single program such as an image viewer, a small collection of programs that work together to accomplish a task such as a spreadsheet or a text processing system. A larger collection of related but independent programs and package that have a common user interface or shared data formats such as Microsoft Office, which consists of closely integrated word processor, spreadsheet, database manager, etc., or a software system such as a database management system, which is collection of fundamental program that may provide some service to a variety of other independent applications. Here is table 1 and example of application software. There is word processing software are Microsoft Word, Google Doc, Perfect is there, type spreadsheet, and Microsoft Excel, Apple Numbers, Google Sheet, Cube and Smartsheet. Graphics, Apple Pay Design and Adobe Photoshop, Corel Draw, software Microsoft Paint is there, and desktop publishing there is a Quark Express, Adobe InDesign, and Microsoft Publisher Library Office Draw is there. And social media messaging, Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Twitter is there, and virtual conferences, Milan Sidhu, Zoom, Google Meet, Skype, Cisco, Webs, etc. is there. And next is programming languages are there. A programming language is a artificial language as opposed to natural language such as Hindi, English, etc., and language that is used to generate or to express computer program. Both system software and application software are developed using one or many programming languages. And generations of programming languages, the programming languages have been divided into different generations according to their characteristics and capabilities. Machine language, the first generation of computer programming language is machine language. Programs in machine language consist of instructions coded in of zeros and ones. Thus the alphabet of machine language are 0 and 1. Assemble language, the second generation of computer programming language started using mnemonic, that is like add, sub, to represent machine language instructions and storage locations. Assembly language is also machine dependent, and system software or at least part of it is usually developed in assembly languages. Third generation language, that is 3GL. 3GL are English like languages. They use statements and commands which are similar to the words used in English. And Fortran, that is formula translation. Fortran was developed in 1956 by John Backus. It was developed keeping in mind the scientific and engineering application. COBOL, that is Common Business Oriented Language. COBOL was developed in the early 1960s under the auspices of US Department of Defense in cooperation with the computer manufacturers, users and universities like that. And basic, what is basic? That is beginners all purpose symbolic instruction code. Basic was developed in 1964 by John Kemeny and John Kutz to teach students as a Dartmouth College to use computers. It was meant to be a very simple language to learn and also one that would be easy to translate. Pascal, it was developed in the late 1960s by Nicholas Wirth of Zurich. He named it after the great mathematician and philosopher Blaise Pascal. Both Pascal and Basics have been used extensively for teaching to the beginners. C. It was developed at Bell Laboratories in 1972 by Dennis Ritchie. Many of its principles and ideas were taken from the earlier language B and B's earlier ancestors BCPL and CPL. C was developed with the purpose of creating a high-level language that could be used for writing machine and the independent program and would still allow the programmer to control the behavior of individual bytes of data. Fourth generation language, 4GL. Fourth generation languages are less procedural and even more English like than 3GL languages. The emphasis is more on the output format than the procedures applied to achieve the result. That is why fourth generation languages are also called as non procedural languages. Fourth generation languages, 4GLs, the salient features are there. 4GLs, natural power builder, visual C++, visual basics. So salient features are application generators, SQL is there, and systat, SAS graph, etc. And there is graphic language also. And object oriented language. Object oriented programming is a type of programming in which programmers define the data type and structure of the data. In addition, the operators, that is function, that can be applied to the data is also defined. The data and functions together are known as objects. Programmers can create relationship together are known as objects, and programmers can create relationship between objects, and for example objects can inherit characteristics from other objects. One of the principal advantage of object oriented programming techniques over procedural programming techniques is that they enable programmers to create modules that do not need to be changed when a new type of object is added. Python, it was developed by Guido van Rossum in the late 80s and the early 90s at the National Research Institute for Mathematics and Computer Science in the Netherlands. Python is derived from many other languages including ABC, Modula, C, C++, Algol, Smalltalk, and Unix shell and other scripting languages. And Guido van Rossum was reading the script of popular BBC comedy series, that is Monty Python's Flying Circus. It was late on air 1970s. Okay, so this is about today's session, and next section we will discuss on next video in this chapter. So thank you so much. For more MBA videos, you just do like, share, and subscribe our channel.
i-tutor Academy presents Ignou Mba complete syllabus coverage classes for individual students, semester-wise subject with online and flexible timing. For more details, contact on +916 238 21785.